Yeah, here it is. All right. So, uh, I'm not sure what is your level in programming, but I will be considering you as a beginner in Python programming,
Yes,
and I will start. Okay, I will start
yeah.
from scratch. Um, and one more thing. Are you able to listen me properly? Is there any sometime my voice? Uh, is
No,
there
yes,
any?
I can listen you properly.
Okay, okay, that's good. Okay, so first I would like to share this idea about learning Python. It's a roadmap, I think, created by some Python enthusiasts. I'm sorry, you would. I think this might be it's because the mic is just above me. So okay, all right. So I was just giving you an idea of the how what are the main stages in learning Python. So there are three levels: a beginner's level, intermediate level of understanding of Python, and then there is an advanced level. So in this, it's actually about learning, I think, completely having a complete understanding of Python. So in the first step, you might be knowing about the syntax, variables, data types, and conditional, and these basic things, and then yeah, you will be learning loops, functions, built-in functions, and in the step three, it's about list, tuples, dictionaries, and the fourth step. So we usually for beginners we do it till the fourth step, and yeah, the seventh step as well because we give some idea about libraries to a student. So these four and or five steps, and then this fifth is very specialized, learning about lambda functions. And this, I'm not sure if it is involved in your particular research or analysis. If it is, then we will be discussing this as well, slightly. And then there are some topics about modules. Although we do discuss these modules in the basic, in the first two, three lectures, lessons of the Python, but I'm not sure, and these iterators as well, so you will have some idea of these things. Eventually you can work on creating your own program, and that phase uh, give you more proper understanding of this particular language or any other language in which you are working. When you create an app or you create a program, you become more fluent in that language. So let's move towards the basics. What is programming? In simple words, oh, I'm sorry, it's about Python. So yeah, why Python? Just because it is very easy language as compared to the other languages. It has a very simple syntax. For example, for plus, it uses plus sign, while if we talk about C++, I think it has a different sign. And it has very complex notations for writing different things. But in Python, if you want to show something on the screen, you just use command print. If you want to find the length of a particular piece of writing, you just say len, len for the length. And there are, I mean, its language is very much similar to the normal language our day-to-day language, and it's that is why it's very easy to understand. And one more thing is its coding is more uh, what can I say? Its codes and its syntax is more brief as compared to the languages. And then yeah, it's an advanced language. It's a modern language. It was created, I think, in 80s. So that's why it has. And after then, there have been a lots of development in this language. There have been lots of new modules in this. It has a large community, and yeah, this is, I think, the most important thing. It has a lots of packages, built-in packages, which help you do things fast. You just call those packages, and those packages contain a lots of programming already done in them. And when you use those packages, when you call them, they do lots of coding steps in a single step, and which they create a lots of ease for you, and coding experience is more interesting. So these are a few things due to which people are choosing Python and why Python is more important as compared to other languages. And these days, in some aspects, the other languages are better. For example, R language is preferred when you are specifically interested in visualizing data, and in some other cases. So, and also Java is preferred when you are specifically doing web development because that language is more designed for web development. And these kinds of things are there which you will be able to you will keep on knowing these things as you continue your journey in you're learning Python. So this is a little bit about why Python. And if I talk about the usage of Python, then it is used in data analysis these days uh, very frequently, and then it is used in visualization. It has a library, Matplotlib, which is very convenient when you are visualizing something. It has a very, I mean, it has a set of different graphs. You just call these graphs, and for example, I don't know, pie chart and lots of those. I think almost there are, I mean, lots of different graphs which you can use for your particular data by just writing single line of code. And then there are, it's also used in apps and software development, in creating dashboard, in data collection. There are different APIs in Python which are very helpful in data collection. And in machine learning and web development, and I would like to add, Python has played a very central role in the development of YouTube and Facebook and these things. I think Mark Zuckerberg or Elon Musk, he mentioned that this particular language has been very helpful in the progress of these social media platforms. And now let's start discussing what is programming. So, in simple words, it's programming is the way to communicate with the computer. It's like grammar. It's a set of I'm sorry, that is syntax actually. So yeah, programming is just a language through which you communicate with the computer. And then if you're not familiar with this term syntax, it's the set of rules, and you can say grammar for a particular programming language. Different languages have different ways, different styles of writing a particular message to a computer. So Python, and this, as I was telling you before, uh, one of the one of the thing which distinguishes Python from other languages is its syntax, and here we are talking about syntax. Then this is a very common terminology in programming: input and output. Whenever you will have a code, you will have an input and you will every time the code will be about giving it some input and having some output. So uh, and then there is script and snippet. Snippet is actually a piece of code, and script is also, I think, I'm not very much sure, but script is also the written code which you have in your programming document. Okay, so after these things, I will move towards the most important topics in Python. So uh, if I tell you about the most important things in Python, then there are four things: data types, operators, functions, and packages. Overall, you will be learning these things in Python. Data types are actually it's actually about input. Whenever you will give an input to your program, Python will categorize that input in four different categories. Oh, not sorry, not four. In certain different kinds of categories, and those categories we call data types. I will be explaining it later. Um, then there are operators. Operators are, uh, the operators we have in mathematics. It's similar to that. as we have plus minus signs. Uh, in programming, we have lots of that kind of signs. For example, equal, which is used for assignment of a variable, and then there is modulo, which is in mathematics. It's same in Python. So operators are those kinds of things. There is a list of operators which you can get by if you just write. Can you see the Chrome here?
Yes.
Can you see this the browser I have opened here?
No.
Oh, you can't see it. Okay, I'm sorry. Just share complete screen. I thought I am okay. So yeah, I was just going to show you operators in Python. There is a complete list of operators. So I think the internet will be working slow because I am sharing my screen. So it's yeah. Whenever I try to do this, I do not. I mean, sometimes it creates a problem. It's not working fine. Okay. So let me just go back to the slides and let's try to explain things. Okay. So there are operators. I will be explaining these in the next slides. And then there are functions in Python. Functions are the core of programming. Uh, yeah, there is a slide here in which I will be explaining about the functions. And then packages and libraries. This is where you can learn as much as you want because there are lots of libraries and you we work on those libraries which are required in our upcoming research or in our upcoming work. The famous one are math library, uh, matplotlib, pandas, and I think there are a few others which are famous and every programmer should have some idea of. So if I move forward and I talk about data types in Python. So yeah, data types are uh, integers, floats, strings. Then I think complex numbers. I'm not sure. I haven't used this one. And then there are booleans and other things. So whenever you will write an input for your program, it will be categorized into certain categories, and those categories are data types. So if you, for example, if you create a program in which in which your input is, say you give an input equals to 100, and you create a program which can divide 100 by 5. So you will get an output equal to 20. So when Python will be dealing with this 100, Python will automatically assign it the data type integer or float. I'm not sure what it is going to assign, but yeah, it will. And if you let's say if you give it uh, say you are talking about grades of a student. You say there are grades and a student has got grade A. You want to convert that grade into marks. So it's between, it can be, let's say 90 marks are, let's say the marks were 88. So when you will be converting it into 88 and you given A to Python in that program to be processed, so Python will categorize into string. Or for example, if you give Python a name in input, so Python will categorize that name into a string. Anyway, I will understand it better when we will be doing it in an interactive interpreter. So leave it for now. So yeah, here again we have I think all of the data types we have in Python. I don't know why I have. Okay, here are operators. So yeah, there are arithmetic operators which might be plus, minus, and those kind of operators. There are assignment operators which is equal sign, and I don't know if there are others. And I'm not sure about the rational relational operators. I think they, yeah, these are those. And or, etc. And logical operators might be, I think these will be and or. And there are other operators as well. Yeah, you see them here. Yeah, these in, not, etc. These are membership operators. Is, yeah, we also use is and is not in Python. We are using these days. So these are also, and I haven't actually used these and in this way. Anyway, these are operators. Now I just give you an idea of function in Python. Uh, in Python, you actually use this particular thing definition, and then you write your name of your function. Then you sometimes you leave this space blank, and sometimes you assign some parameter here, and you write all of the statement here after indentation. Indentation is also a very important thing in Python. And then you write something here at the end of this code, for example, print or whatever you want. Sometimes you use return command, and function gets designed. And whenever you will use the name of this function in Python, you will be able to do all of this thing with a single command. So making function is important because if sometimes you do not want to repeat certain steps. For example, if you are trying to do certain thing which includes 10 different steps, and you require those steps again and again in your program. So it would be a better idea to create a program, and then whenever you need all of those steps performed, you just need to call that function. You just need to write the name, this piece, name and the parameters, and you will have all these things done with a single command. Right. In the basic information, there is another thing which is libraries. Yeah, these are famous libraries in Python. You have NumPy. This is for dealing with the, I think, lists and arrays. It's all about linear algebra, in which you are dealing with the matrices and all of those things. If you have matrices or arrays of data, you can manipulate those arrays. You can convert, cut, and again merge, and lots of those things that perform. And then this scikit-learn is about machine learning, in which you train. You have in this particular package, you bring your own data, and then you feed that data to this particular, to different modules in this package, and those can uh, help you analyze that data. This particular package also involves the famous, I think, k nearest neighbors, KNN model, which is used by famous websites, for example, YouTube and some other websites, for recommending content to different subscribers and different users. So in the KNN model, it actually um it actually do some kind of clustering, in which it uh, creates clusters from your data, and based on those clusters, it can be used in a recommendation system. It's also a very important package for machine learning. And then this is TensorFlow. I haven't used this much, so I'm not very much aware of this, and I'm also not aware of the PyTorch. It's also a famous one. Lots of my colleagues are using this. And then there is SciPy. It's for statistics. It does all standard deviation, hypothesis testing, and lots of things for you. And then there is Pandas. Is all about all of the things you do in Excel. It can You can do those things. Pandas. You can upload your Excel file in your program in Python, and then you can use Pandas for doing all of the things, deleting a certain column, creating a new column, filtering your particular your data, and lots of things. And I'm not sure about these Keras and Theano at the moment. I haven't used those packages. Now let's start doing uh, some programming now. So some basic programming to give you more idea about this. So if I talk about where you can start practicing Python. So there are two ways, two platforms. One is this python.org, which is the main website. Let's just okay. So if I just go here at python.org, let me just share my screen. I just forgot that I am okay. So here is python.org. From here you can install Python in directly into your PC. See from here, it's the latest version is available here, and you can also do some programming here. If you have to write a code for something and urgently, then you can just go at python.org and you can use this particular uh, this window for your code. And yeah, it takes some time. So you can write anything here and it will execute. Say I want to print my name, or let's say your name, Rabia. So you can just write your name here and see it has printed the name again. So I will, yeah, I will be telling you about the print function, this print built-in function. Uh, Once we just move to the next slide. Okay. So this was one way of using Python, installing it into your PC, but it requires a lots of packages. So whenever you will be doing something, for example, if you have to do something with Excel, with Excel file, so you might be needing to install a certain package, and that will be a very tiresome job. So you will always come here and you will install a new package. So we prefer sometime, I mean, we prefer using Python online. So we just, I'm using this particular link. So you also have this link. I think I have shared the slides and I will be sharing the slides again. So you can have this link. I think it's working flow. Uh, it provides you an access to Jupyter notebooks. And Jupyter notebooks are, I think, the most convenient way of using Python. You can also use Python here or in your PC, but the most safe way is to use these notebooks. And these notebooks are special because they provide you, here you can also write a text. For example, I want to create a new program. So you can write anything you want and then you can convert it into markdown file and this statement will be there and then you can write your code. For example, I am getting a code which takes some value a is equal to this, b is equal to this, and c is equal to this, and in the end, it's going to, let's say, there's a there's a new variable d which is, let's say, multiplying c with a, and then let's say dividing it with b. I'm not sure. I'm not able to create any other program right now. So this is a program in which certain kinds of operations are being done, and then I just print what is D. So the idea is idea was that in these Jupyter notebooks, you can create pieces of your code, and then you can write your comments, and then you can also add a particular text. You can also give headings to um, your in your document. Let's say I want to give it a heading, my my first program. So see, it also, yeah, we just have a 45-minute session, so it will be ending I think within a few minutes, 4 to 5 minutes. So I just conclude this session. So yeah, I was just telling you that this is another way of using Python. You can use it by going to this link, and then directly you can directly use it on. But yeah, for some there are some tasks which you might not be able to perform. Okay, so I plan to discuss these things in my first lesson: the comments, variables, the print function. This must be uh, small. So yeah, these things. But I think we have a few minutes left, so we might not be able to do all of the remaining things there. And here I was going to share the scheme of my course. If I when I'm teaching to I mean I'm teaching these things in my course, starting with introduction and then going. Yeah. So I'm sorry, I wanted to discuss a few more things, but time is short. So what are your views about about and what basically you want to learn in Python?
Okay, I want to visualizing data analysis. That is, came from next generation sequencing. There are a lot of files, sequences. So we have to sort out and then make graph. So I want to learn data analysis through Python.
Yeah, I got that. So it's in data analysis we don't use advanced, very advanced Python. It's first four levels. So and yeah, it's not very difficult. It's more about practice. I mean, there are a few things. I mean, I can explain those things, and then it will be on you to practice a lot and to use Google to see if yeah, you know, there is whenever you're making a program, there are things which are more related to your program and not relevant to basic programming. So you might be Googling, you might be using Google, you will be resolving your problem and that kind of thing. But I can give you the idea of all of these things we have in the first four stages of Python. And by the way, tell me if you were able to understand. This is my way of teaching. I just tried to give you the idea of this language. So was you able to grasp the concepts and was you able to get some idea of Python through this lecture?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Okay, it's good. You will get the recording and you can have that recording. You can see if my way of teaching is helpful, then you can start working with me and we can discuss your project as well and these few things as well. I think within 4, 5, or 8, I mean, sessions, you can have the complete idea of the first uh, essential packages in Python, and you might be able to. It's a very beautiful and very interesting language, by the way. Once you start learning it, it I think it interacts with your ability to learn. They have designed it very beautifully, and you start taking interest, and you're good to go. I'm learning with Dr. Angela. She has a 100 days coding challenge. I think I am on day 10. Although I know all of these things, but I'm doing these things again. And her way is that she has small games which we have to complete, small challenges. That's also a very good way. So I will also be trying to share some coding challenges with you. You will be sharing your screen. You will be completing those things. I will see how are you able to solve the problem, and I will also be explaining things in the first phase of my class. So in this way, you will be able to learn this language. So it's good for today, Rabia. Now it's up to you. Whatever you decide, you can hire me on SWOT. That is where I am offering the classes these days, and that's all for today.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for today lecture.
No, I was actually, yeah, it was my pleasure. I'm trying to improve because I am a math tutor basically. I have been teaching maths for last 6 years. So now I have learned Python. So I'm interested in teaching Python. So I am very open to giving trial lessons to students so that I can improve my own ability. So it was my pleasure. Uh, so yeah, thank you and hope to see you next in hope to see you in my course. Have a nice day.
Thank you so much.